are back for season number 2, ready to take another run at the Stanley Cup with your Winnipeg Jets. And guys, I gotta say, the lines are looking beautiful. The chemistry is clicking for the most part, and the overalls are flying. Now, we already got the preseason bonuses in. I'm hoping that some of these guys did get the off-season pluses for their skating categories. As you can see, they're not the fastest. Nikolai Ehlers is still really fast, but he's always been fast, and you can see they still have the +5 up there. As a 94, 93, 91 now. Batherson's up to an 88. He was an 87. Perfetti, speaking of 87, is chilling at an 87 and a perfect fit. Batherson, unfortunately, when he jumped to that 88, now is a first-line forward, so the only way I could convince him to play was to be a first-line forward. That's fine, though. I think he will be just fine. And then Anton Lundell did not want to be convinced, but he is looking really, really good. 5-star defensive category, which should hopefully fix our second line's massive hole, defensively. And then you guys in the comment section mentioned to play Velarde, Nazar, and Lowry on this third line. I'm hoping Nazar, I can get him to convince him to play like a third liner, because I think he'll be a stud on that third line if we can get a plus here. But you guys can see like Gustafsson, Nemesnikov, Iafallo, like that's a nasty fourth line. That's our fourth line, guys. And then the blue line, the pièce de résistance, Morrissey and Pionk getting the +4, 94, 89, Josh Morrissey with 99 puck control, 94 passing, 97 offensive awareness, not to mention he is a phenomenal defensive player as well. The middle pairing of Mikey Anderson, he's an 87 now with Grizzly, who's an 86, getting a +3, and then Zach Jones and Colin Miller also getting a +3. I was able to convince both Jones and Mikey Anderson to fit in their respective roles. God, I'm happy that Mikey Anderson signed for $4 million for 6 years after this, or 5 years. I don't know. It's like a 6-year deal, whatever. He's an 87. He's insane. We look so good. The power play guys showing you just a couple power play units. It's still absolutely stacked. And I am going to give Perfetti that ice time there on the first power play unit, just because I want him to get as many points and grow for us. He's still 23. He's still got so much offensive talent. I just need him to really realize that. And then on power play 2 is going to be Batherson and Lundell and Velarde and Nazar, and Pionk is going to quarterback the second power play. So I'm pretty pumped about our power play. The penalty kill lines, they look fantastic, right? We got Lowry, Batherson, we've got Lundell, Iafallo, and then we have Scheifele, Nemesnikov. And Nemesnikov coming back for as cheap as he did. 84 overall. We have him back, for 3 years at 2.25. I think that's a phenomenal deal. Very, very happy with that. Hellebuck, 93. Comrie, 80. Like, hopefully these guys get some good defensive play in front of them as a team, and they can put up some good stats. If you take a look at our coaching staff, we're looking pretty good. Our Neil is still an A. I'm hoping that he's close to leveling up, but growing a little bit. You can see he's really close. Offensively with the XP, coach influence, I'd like to see that go up a little bit more, especially for my head coach. But we look really, really good. Our coaching staff, I think, is pretty solid. In the AHL, it is what it is. I try to get the best people for their roles, but honestly, guys, if you look at the stats, I think we're pretty solid. So let's jump into the simulation. Whew, it's going to be a big season, I feel. And here we are, guys, 21 games into the season so far, and we are second place in the Central Division, tied for number 1 in the West. Are we tied for number 1 in the No, oh my God, the Bruins 18-3-1. I guess we're tied for second place in the NHL, but most importantly, first in the West with the Predators. They have played one fewer game than we have, but we are a quarter of the way through the season, and the similar story as last year, guys. Defense just isn't there, and maybe it's because we have a lot of offensive-minded defensemen. But we're scoring the third most goals for per game at 405. The goals against are 23rd. The power play is 6th, and the penalty kill is 9th. So it seems like we're scoring a ton, even strength and on the power play. And then the penalty kill is doing its job. Unlike last year, the penalty kill looks fantastic. It looks like just at 5-on-5, we're not doing all that well keeping the puck out of the net. And I'd really love to see our goaltending tandem do a lot better. But taking a look, and it's a kind of a very similar story yet again. Scheifele with 32 in 21. Kyle Connor with 31 in 21. I mean, they're shooting 18%. Batherson shooting 16.7%. So kind of an unintended consequence of getting him for that second line is the fact that he's now become that second line goal scorer. He's got none on the power play, so he's not just heating up because of our good power play. And then Nikolai Ehlers, I kind of glossed over him, is doing his thing. 25 points in 21 games. It's not anything that we're not used to at this point. But that second line is, you know, a minus, and they're just gonna, I guess, always be a minus. I guess when our first line's out there scoring all the power play goals and whatnot, the simulation is just gonna dunk on our second line. But it is nice to see Cole Perfetti with 16 points in 21 games. Last year, he only had 38 total. I mean, he's already on pace to absolutely crush that. So that's really, really good to see. Gabe Vilardi with 8 points in 21. He's on pace for the same amount as he had last year. Yes, he's got less ice time, but the dude just doesn't know how to shoot and score. Like, our shooting percentages are kind of wild. Some of our best forwards, I think, are shooting in the trash. Like Cole Perfetti, listen, bona fide playmaker. Not looking at him to be a goal scorer, I guess, ever. Gabe Vilardi, same thing. Iafallo, like, that's why them as a second line didn't work. Even Ehlers is shooting 8.7%, which I guess isn't great, but somebody's got to bite the bullet, I apparently. But Gustafsson, I guess, shoots well enough. And then Frank Nazar, 4 goals, 5 points. He did convert to the third line's chemistry, and we'll see. I mean, I really like the way he looks offensively. I'm hoping he does develop for us. But as far as the points in, like, the bottom 6, Nemesnikov, Vilardi, Lowry, Iafallo, Nazar, Gustafsson, they're all right about even, which I will absolutely take at this point. I know last year was kind of like a big minus, especially on that second line. If we can negate that, I feel like we'll be in a really good spot. And then you take a look at Morrissey. He's got 24 points, and Pionk has 15. So it's good to see our top line really crushing it. The third pairing, Jones and Miller, they're not doing great. Jones is scoring a ton. As far as giveaways, it's really not too bad, I guess. Mikey Anderson, I would have liked to see him be a little bit better, but he's blocking a ton of shots. He's doing his thing. He's a +6. I can't really complain. He's just not really a point getter, especially when Grzelcyk is more of an offensive-minded two-way defenseman. And then in goal, I mean, the goaltending situation is just horrible. I don't know why we have a franchise goaltender. I don't know why we even pay Hellebuck the money we pay him. I can't move him, so we're just going to ride it out with Hellebuck. He's 32, so we'll see. Daigle's obviously in the pipeline. We'll see how he develops, but for now, guys, goaltending continues to be an issue. I'm not really sure what to do about it. I know we wanted to go out and target defensive defensemen, but I actually just wanted to get the best defenseman I could. Pionk is still too good, I think, for me to just have let him walk for free, and I didn't want to trade him, so I think we're going to stand pat as it is now. I mean, there's not really much I can do to improve the decor. It's probably, especially with the chemistry, one of the best decors in the entire NHL in this universe. I've never seen a decor with a 94 +4, an 89 +4, and then, so if you add the chemistry overall, it's 98, 93, 90, 88, 82, 87. Like, that's ridiculous. So whatever it is to get our defense as a team playing better, maybe it's our assistant coaching needs to be better. I could take a look at the assistant coaches. Because I guess our staff overall, I mean, it isn't the greatest with a B- and a C here. I guess, like, yeah, if you take a look at the defenses, it's A+, but B-, C. I would promote our AHL guy, but he's really looking like he's going to be, not helping us at all there. I don't know, guys. I'll take a look at some coaches, but unless you hear from me about that, we're just going to get to the midway point of the season. Jumping in quickly here to say, we've got some big names up for contract extensions. The big two, obviously, the number one is Kyle Connor, and we have to bring him back. 29, 94 overall. He's a franchise player. He's absolutely insane. 22 goals, 19 assists. That's 41 points in 34 games. He is absolutely a stud for our first line, and we are going to have to pay the man. And Cole Perfetti, I'd love to keep him around. I've looked at the contract extension number. It looks like it's going to be about $5 million. $6 million over 3 years. If we give him a no movement clause at the very tail end of this deal, when he's 28, he'll be a UFA at the end of it. I mean, we could cut some significant salary off of it there, but again, the big one is Kyle Connor. Frank Nazar needs a contract, and then some of our depth players, Lowry, Miller, even Gustafsson. He's been playing, I think, well this season. Is he still a plus? He's a -1, so he's right there, but he's looking really good as well on that fourth line. He fits the fourth line chemistry-wise. Goaltenders, it's just the backup Eric Comrie. I don't know what he's going to ask for. Hopefully, I think I'll do that. I don't think it really matters at this point who our backup is. Can I give him 2 years at like 0.8? Or, you know what? I'll give him 2 years at 0.775. We'll have Comrie back for another 2 years. I think the tandem of Comrie and Hellebuck is just a fun tandem to have. But really, you guys want to know what it is. It's Kyle Connor, and his contract extension is massive. And what I'm going to do is I think I am going to give him a the exact contract length he wants, right? Because otherwise it gets dicey. I don't want to give him 8 years, and like 6 years is the sweet spot. He'd be here until he's 35, but if I give him that no movement clause, I might be able, I mean, I can significantly drop his salary. That really does make him happy. And if I try and get him for like, I feel like 12-ish million, 12.25, 13% of the cap's going to go up, I think, even more next season. So yes, we have 17 now. So Connor plus Perfetti would get us, I think, above that extension dollars remaining, but we can obviously move on from some of our older players, which is why I targeted guys like Batherson and Lundell and Anderson in the offseason, because these contract extensions are coming. But I feel like 6 years at 2.25 for a guy like Kyle Connor, 94, like it's what we're going to have to do to keep him around. And I don't really feel like I want to trade a guy like Kyle Connor. He's got a modified no trade clause. If I did end up moving from him, I think it would just do more harm than good. I mean, he's an absolutely insane player, right? We'd probably have to go after another franchise player. And there's only so many of those guys that would make it a fair return. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and give him the contract. He's part of the core. We know he's played well for us. We know he fits the scheme. You can see that last year he had 115 points, was a plus 53, not necessarily as good plus minus wise. And a lot of that is because of our power play. I think has really taken a step up. Not quite halfway through the year, but I wanted to get these extensions done sooner rather than later. But he is on pace to have another phenomenal year. I think he's earned it. He's obviously insane when you look at his stats. Another season where we get the plus to his defensive awareness, and he's just going to become, I think, a god on the ice. So we're going to keep him around with Morrissey and Scheifele and Ehlers. I think Scheifele's probably the one that, well, actually, no, the first one to expire is Morrissey. But you can see Mikey Anderson's contract is looking phenomenal there. Pionk, I still think his contract is good. So I'm going to try to give Kyle Connor that 6 years, no movement clause. I believe it's the only one that would get me as low as I want to go, which is 12.25. Like I said, cap's going to probably go up. Don't know what the number is in year number 3. I forgot off the top of my head. Oh my God, I completely just scrolled and I was talking and I completely forgot about it. But we're going to give him like 12.25 million. And then if I change this no movement clause to like a no trade clause, it goes down. Modified no trade clause goes down even further. No movement plus no trade, and then no clause. So I think the no movement clause, it's going to have to be if I want to get him for a pretty good deal. And maybe I can get him at 12. I don't want to really risk it. And it's 250,000. It's not going to like 250,000 is not going to be the difference someday. Knock on wood, flashback to this if it does happen. But 6 years, 12.25 for a guy like this. I think we get him done. We'll get Velarde, or we'll get not Velarde. I think I'm going to move on from Velarde closer to the deadline because he's just not good. He's not good enough. He's not going to get the contract extension that he wants, and I feel like his value is as good as it's going to get. So I'd like to move on from him. But Kyle Connor, there's your contract, my guy. He's not going to rush it, and we'll let you know what his decision is. And there we go, guys. Kyle Connor is going to accept that contract. Eric Comrie did as well, so we've got those two guys back. I think we're looking really good. We'll see what the cap space situation and contract situation are next year, but you know, even if we let a guy like Lowry walk, same thing with, we'll probably trade Velarde, and I might be able to get, you know, a bottom 6 young guy, another Frank Nazar type player, probably better than Nazar in return, but get one of those guys back. We'll deal with that then, but for now, I want to keep the team as loaded as possible. So we just hit February, and guys, the defense has come to life. First in goals for per game and 6th in goals against. First on the power play at 33.3% and 9th on the penalty kill. Mark Scheifele has 70 points this season. And we are just about 50 games through. We're exactly 50 games through the season. He's got 32 goals, 38 assists. He's having a great year. Kyle Connor, who just signed the contract extension, also hit 30 goals, 68 points. Nikolai Ehlers with 68 points as well, 21 goals, 47 assists, so he's ticked it up. And then we have Morrissey here, who we'll get to in a minute, but he's got 60. You can see the second line, it's not bad, but Batherson has been a great addition right now, 43 points in 50 games. Perfetti with 39 as well, so he's having the best season of his career right now. Career high in points and still has 32 games to go to maybe get closer to 70 points. I mean, that's probably what he's about on pace for. Lundell, he's doing fine. He's a -7. Is he still as good? We'll take a look at the takeaways and stuff. But Velarde, +2. Nazar's got 25 points, so he's on pace for 20 goals, 40 points. Lowry, that third line looks really good. And then the fourth line, contributing with points. I have Follow and Nemesnikov in the teens, and then Gustafsson has got 7. He's just doing his thing down there, and these guys are playing single-digit minutes per night. Taking a look at the giveaways and takeaways, Kyle Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers, Batherson, Lindell, all doing what they need to do. Gabe Vilardi actually having a good two-way season, so pretty interesting to see that. He's only playing 12 minutes a night, and I think, like I said, he is probably the guy that I would get rid of. I'd like to keep Perfetti, and I'd like to obviously keep Kyle Connor. Everybody else, I feel like we can make it work. We can figure it out. And then you just look at Lowry. He's just one of those guys. He's supposed to be this two-way dynamo, this stud defensively. You can see his defensive category is 4.5 stars, but yet he gives the puck away more than he's taking it away. As a forward, that's not good. Same thing for Perfetti here. It's now 2 seasons in a row where if you take a look at his giveaways and takeaways, he gives the puck away more than he takes it away. Now, he is developing. He's getting better in that regard. But it's not where you want it to be for a guy that I have first-line aspirations for someday. And you can see these guys down at the bottom. They're doing just fine. Even Frank Nazar, for his poor defensive category, is doing well enough. And then we take a look at the defensemen here. We won't look at the giveaways and takeaways for them just yet. But you can see Morrissey and Pionk are just dominating. Anderson's doing fine with Grzelcyk. And then Miller and Jones not doing as well as I would have hoped. And we played 50 games so far. And as far as the giveaways are concerned, nobody's really that crazy. Grzelcyk and Pionk are giving it away a bit more than I'd like to see. They're on pace for probably 70. 70 is not the end of the world. We do have Mikey Anderson blocking a ton of shots, which is fantastic with that 90 shot block. I mean, his defensive category, guys, is insane. So all in all, Zach Jones is blocking shots too. He's not really taking the puck away, but it is what it is. And then as far as the goaltending, you can see Connor Hellebuck has returned to form. His return to form has been a big reason why our defense, I think, is playing better. 914, 268, and to compare that to what he was rocking when our defense was in the 20s, he's had one heck of a 2-month stretch here. So we're going to jump to the deadline. Really don't see myself being too active. I'll probably poke around, see what I could get for Vilardi. As far as contract extensions, again, I don't really want to move on from people that are expiring because these are the kind of rentals we would have loading up to go for the cup. But like Perfetti, Vilardi doesn't want to come back, but Perfetti does. A Perfetti extension at this point is going to cost 5.75. Actually, he wants 6.6, but we only have 5.75. I could throw in a no movement clause for the end of it and hopefully his interest is still super high. So if I give him no clause, 5.5 for 5 years for a guy like Cole Perfetti, I feel like I'd take that with no clause. We could still move on from him. We'd have no cap space left. And we would have to find replacements for a Vilardi, for a Lowry, for a Miller. Nazar, I feel like I can bring back, and Gustafsson, I feel like I could move on for. I would probably move on from like Iafallo and bring Nazar back for this 2. Oh my God, I'll absolutely give him 3 years. At 1.2? You think 1.2 might get it done? 1.25 gets us into the top. Yeah, 3 years at 1.25 for Frank Nazar. I know it's not a great sign that he may not develop, but I feel like it's just too good of a deal to not give at this point. And I'm hoping that some of our guys in the system have grown. Guys like Brad Lambert, guys like Dumais, who we acquired last year. So we'll take a look at the progress report for the AHL and see, has anybody developed into something? Brad Lambert, 79. He is developing. Dumais is also developing. He's got a +4. He's got natural growth in his puck skills. You love to see that. He's obviously got the morale growth, but Brad Lambert developing. He's 22, low elite. He's got that offensive awareness at 89. He's looking like he's getting better defensively too. He is developing. So I think we have a spot for both him and Dumais on the team potentially next year. Could completely change the look of that third line. But right now, we got some of these depth guys like Anderson Dolan. I don't know if he's signed for another year, but we do have options for the bottom 6 should we let some of these guys go. It'll be weaker. We'll be a bit top heavier. But it is what it is, right? And if we're going to trade a guy like Vilardi, who's an RFA, and maybe some of these other RFAs, I think we're going to get something at least decent in return. Maybe another low elite that we can continue to grow like this. But to the trade deadline we go. And we've made it to the trade deadline, guys. We are, at last I checked, #1 in the entire league. We do play a game against Seattle that I don't get to see the result of. So here we go. We're at the deadline. Let's go be a buyer. I don't think I'm going to buy too much. Let's be honest. Our team is really good. #1 in the NHL is where we want to be, but if Rasmus Anderson wanted to come, he doesn't. He's clause protected. Okay. I guess that Athletic article was just published recently where Winnipeg actually was above Buffalo as far as places that teams would have their #1 no trade clause city. Oh my God, nobody wants to come here except for Rust. DeMello doesn't want to come back, I guess. That's cool. Devin Levi, if we wanted to change it, goaltender. But I don't want to do that. Patrick Kane is available. We could go after him, and it probably would be cheap. Zach Jones, and Fry. All right, we got a different one. So I'm going to poke around and see what we can find and maybe trade away some of our guys, but just taking a look quickly. I believe we won that game against Seattle. I'm not entirely sure that we did. We were at 88 points, 2 games in hand on the Avs. And you guys can see we are number 1 in the entire league. Goals for is 377, and goals against is 287. So our defense has really, really improved this season. Still rocking the number 1 penalty or power play in the league and a good penalty kill. So let me poke around for some trades, though. Unfortunately, guys, I don't really think there's any trades to be made. I flipped through the entire NHL. The guys that I would go after potentially are clause protected, and I really don't want to give up guys like Velarde right now. I'd like to stand pat. I mean, we have a ton of picks this year, which is honestly a really nice thing to say because of how devoid we looked at the start of last year. But a first, a second, 3 thirds, I'll take that. That's 5 top 100 picks. And I think it's really going to bolster this depth in our organization. These guys that are going to replenish the bottom 6. And we're hoping that guys like Lambert and Dumais and somebody maybe surprising, maybe even Perfetti, gets to be a replacement for our top-end talent. But I feel like our top-end talent will still be around for another 2-3 years. So we have time to develop the next generation. But for now, I think we stand pat. I just wanted to jump back in quickly and show you guys that we just annihilated the Anaheim. Poor Anaheim. They've got 48 points right now on the season. They're last place in the NHL, and we obliterated them 13-4. We are the number 1 team in the league. We're the only team right now with 100-plus points, and we have about 10 games left in the season. So I just wanted to show you guys. I want to go check out that box score first of all, but we're 4th in goals for, 8th in goals against, 1st on the power play, 13th on the penalty kill. Scheifele has 105 points. Hellebuck's rocking that 268 and the 914. I mean, it doesn't get better than this, guys. I mean, we are top of the top in every category. We seemingly have fixed our defensive issues. Can we go with the, central? Let's just go with the Central Division in March here. Where's that game against Anaheim? There's Anaheim. Oh, God, I got to see that box score. And here it is, guys, the 13-4 win, putting up 12 through 2 periods. Oh, my God. Scheifele had 8 points, was a plus. This'll help the plus minus. Nikolai Ehlers with 6 points. 4 goals for Scheifele. Kyle Connor with 6 points. Pionk with 4. Velarde with 3. Lundell with 3. Nazar with 2 and a +3. Grzelcyk. I mean, I like to see some of these guys chipping in that are domestic guys. Okay, I guess they're the 4th line, but I'm like, how are you a Mike Perfetti? You're not making my decision easy. I want to keep you. But Velarde is having the better season on the 3rd line. Now, Perfetti is playing more minutes against tougher competition, but still, not really bolstering his case. Hellebuck didn't even really do that well, but holy mackerel. We'll take a look at the stats at the end of the season here, guys, but I did want to get back to live simming with you guys because we're really close to the end of the season. It's going to be a neck-and-neck race with us and the Avalanche, right? They are 5 points back. I guess maybe it's not as close as it once was. They did kind of beat us up 8-4. But we'll get to this game. Oh, this game against Colorado could be huge, or we could just win the next 4 and just run away with the division. And we play Anaheim again, and this time it's 6-3. So really, really good matchup for us against Anaheim. And I guess we are kind of running away with it. We are going to beat Columbus because it already changed 9-0. Oh, guys, I think that this iteration of the team is just flying high. We don't even have anything to worry about. I think if we lose this game against Anaheim. Blake Wheeler signed for the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, and he scored 2 goals and 3 points against us in the last time. What did we win? We won 8-4, though, in the last game. Or lost. Lost 8-4. That's wrong. But there you can see it, guys. We are 7 points against above the Avs with 6 games to go. So it is an uphill climb for them. As you can see, these are 2 of the best teams in the entire NHL. Let's hope we pull it out. Let's get down to the last couple games of the season here. Let's go to Nashville as the next one against Colorado at home. We are going to win that game, and that should seal it, and I think it does. We have the Z, which means we should be the number 1 team in the Western Conference. 118 points, 57 wins. Can we get to 60? That would be insane. We'd have to win out. I would love it. Against Nashville, can we get to 60 wins? Come on. We're going to lose to Nashville, unfortunately, not going to get to 60 wins. Seattle fires their head coach, but we do get to 59 wins, 122 points. one heck of a regular season. 122 points is good enough for 10 points above the Avalanche. The Canucks do have a game in hand on us, but we'll just let that be. As far as points on the season, 129 for Pastrnak. Scheifele comes in second. Goals, Pasta's got 72. We have two guys in the top 10. Assists, Makar has 92 assists, but Hellebuck leads the NHL in goalie wins. Oh, he's back. All right, so let's dive in. Take a look at our team. Take a look at the entire league and just kind of preview our matchups. But sticking in the Central Division, because that's how we're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals, is to go through the Central here. You can see that as far as goals for, we are the #1 team in the Central by a pretty good margin, right? A quarter of a goal per game almost. And then just half a goal above the Predators, which is awesome. As far as goals against, the Avs are a little bit better defensively than we are. They're about as much better defensively as we are offensively, so it's a really, really tight matchup there. The power play percentage for both teams is really, really good. And penalty kill, we have the... Oh, no, I'm sorry. We don't have the best penalty kill. We are right there. We're pretty average. 82.2 is not bad, but we do have 12 shorties for... we treated our home ice fans 31-9-1 this season and 9-1 rolling into the playoffs. And it all starts with this #1 line, guys. Scheifele, Connor, and Ehlers. I can't break up this. I can't break it up, guys. Like, there's just no way I can break up this top line. But Scheifele, Connor, Ehlers all had a 100-point season. Kyle Connor with 52 goals. Mark Scheifele with 49. Batherson looking fantastic on that second line, 32 and 32 for 64. Perfetti also with 60. And then Anton Lundell with 23 goals, 57 points this season. He's listed as a second line forward again, so I absolutely love it. Can I talk to him? Can we get you to fit that second line on ice play? We're doing it live, scheme fit. And you guys peer pressured him. Thank you for peer pressuring Anton Lundell into fitting now on that second line. So appreciate you guys being here. I guess he must be camera shy, so he just said yes just cuz. But Gabe Vilardi was even. 45 points, so a much, much better season out of Gabe Vilardi. I think the team as a whole was much better. Obviously, it was defensively, offensively. We still had our dominance that we didn't have last year. But Frank Nazar, look at Nazar. Oh, by the way, he did accept 3 years at 1.25. So we're going to have this guy for another 3 years at an incredibly cheap deal. If he grows any bit at all, he might even be a second liner next year. He could be a dominant sniper for us. We'll take a look at the two-way metrics in a bit. And then looking at the fourth line, Nemestikov, Iafallo, and Gustafsson. 20 points from Nemestikov and Iafallo is fantastic. I'll take that out of my fourth line. And Gustafsson did his thing. I mean, he was just kind of there, and that's what we needed him to do. Let's take a look at these guys. His faceoff percentage was 52% too, so he's winning faceoffs there on the... I went to sort, and okay, that's popping up. Anyway, taking a look at takeaways. Kyle Connor, Scheifele, Batherson, Ehlers, Lundell, not nearly as amazing as he was in Florida, but it's hard to do what he did last year. Vilardi had a great year in this category. Even Lowry went back to being even. Same thing with Iafallo. Perfetti's not great there. Nemestikov still did his thing, and then the fourth line, they did their thing. And Frank Nazar didn't take the puck away, but he also didn't give it away. So, you know what? He doesn't want to worry about that. I'm not going to blame him. Let's go ahead, take a look at the blue line, though, and 90 points for Morrissey. I can't believe Cal Makar had 92 assists. Another year, another Cal Makar Norris, I bet. Pionk with 60 points, a great season for him. Anderson and Grzelcyk look like a solid middle pairing. And the third pairing, could it have been better? Sure, it's not as nearly as lofty as it was a year ago, but I'll take it. They're -9, -3. It's not the end of the world. They're only playing 13 minutes a night. And as far as giveaways, it's really only Grzelcyk that was giving the puck away any bit, but to have our defenders at less than 1 giveaway per game is awesome. Mikey Anderson doing exactly what I wanted him to do with the hits and the blocks, and he's an 87 overall with room to grow. He's had a tremendous season. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets better. Oh, and by the way, he is still 26 years old, signed for another 5 seasons after this one at 4.125. That is incredible. And then we get to the goaltending and a bounce back story for Connor Hellebuck here. 913, 272, still not his best by any stretch. You know, he's had years where he's just chilling in the 920s, but a quality season in net. He got 3 points as well, so cool. Even Hellebuck's getting in on the action. He had 6 shutouts this year, and you just love to see it. So let's take a look at where the entire league stacks up to us, and you can see Pastrnak, 78 goals in 82 games. was just insane. But we got Mark Scheifele with 118 points in second. Is awesome to see. As far as anybody else up here, we should be close. We should be right around it. You can see Connor and Ehlers. There they are. Yep. A lot of guys in the 100 points. McKinnon with 60 goals. Okay. I don't know why that keeps popping up when I hit sort, but McKinnon with 63 goals. Matthews with 61. Kucherov, Kaprizov. But then we have Kyle Connor as well, as I believe Mark Scheifele had 49, so he should be right about there. And yeah, honestly, guys, the power play was a big reason why we're up here, right? 48 power play points for him is blowing everybody else out of the water. Let's take a look at who got the most takeaways in the NHL. It was Forsberg, Crosby, Hintz, Hischier, Kopitar, Aho, Kakko. Yeah, you can see, like, this is Arturi Lehkonen. Interesting. Maybe he could be somebody to go after a decent. I mean, he's got making 4.3 million, so it doesn't really make sense for us to go after him. But Makar, 106 points. I mean, Morrissey's doing all he can. Like, you literally can't ask more out of Josh Morrissey as a franchise offensive defenseman. I mean, he is insane. It just doesn't get better than that. Really, the only guy that could be better is Cale Makar. You can see that he is slightly better at 5 better in passing and 2 better in offensive awareness. But Morrissey, I believe, is, well, they're both pretty darn good. So we'll see. But as far as goaltenders are concerned, Hellebuck did lead the league in wins. Did he lead the league in any other category? Save percentage, not quite. He was, I want to say, a little bit pedestrian there. 913. I had to scroll a little bit. And then we'll just go here. And I mean, his goal against average wasn't bad. We'll see if they vote on wins or on save percentage and goal against average. But a much better season for Connor Hellebuck. And as far as rookies, Matthew Savoy, formerly of the Sabres, currently of the Oilers, is the number 1 guy. And he's going to snatch it from Nazar, which is a bit disappointing. But hey, the fact that Nazar is even there is tremendous. So taking a look at what our path might be to the Stanley Cup, through the Stanley Cup playoffs, we're going to be the number 1 seed. Dallas is going to be the team that we're going to face in the first round. So very similar. Just another team that we're just going to always have to face some of these great Central teams. It was really tight between these teams though, but Dallas is the first team we are going to go up against, and it's just a familiar foe. They did kind of have our number in the regular season, if I can recall correctly. But then it'll be Colorado versus Nashville. You assume if we did make it out of there, we're going to face Colorado. And then in the Pacific Division, we've got the Oilers and the Canucks already locked up their spot. And the Kings, can the Kings make the playoffs? I don't think they can, but they could. They could knock out the San Jose Sharks, who, by the way, signed Rantanen to go with Celebrini and all those guys. So that is, they're turning that rebuild around fast. But guys, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think we should have a good run at it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Who would you bring back? Would you bring back Velarde or would you bring back Perfetti? Because I feel like we have to choose one of the two. Would you let them both walk and kind of replenish with new and different young talent about them, right? We could go after in trade for JJ Peterka, if you will, for the second line, because we already have a guy like Lindell, or is Nazar good enough as far as a sniper, right? I was poking around, and the Sabres did end up signing JJ Peterka to about $4 million, but he's only signed for 1 year. Might have an extension at this point, but I don't know. So let me know your guys' thoughts. There's a lot of options, but let's get through the playoffs. Let's win a Stanley Cup with the Winnipeg Jets. Let's get to the Cup. We had a great run last year. This year is going to be even better. I got a good feeling about it. But guys, that is all the time I have for this one. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more. And I will see you guys in the next one.